Meeting to order, and if we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance, that'd be great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey. Did anybody have any issues with the minutes from the last meeting? Make a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Do we have a
Privilege-
quorum here?
Well, this is, sort of.
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk about
Oh,
right
wait a
now,
minute.
actually. So the privilege of the floor, there's nobody online, right?
No.
Okay. So we've talked a million times about the membership in the meeting. It's myself, Dave, and Jess at this point. So I would assume that a quorum would be two with Jess and me here. However, I would like to add 2 community members to that. One of whom I've already identified, which is Chris Hubler. Due to Chris's schedule, I've brought this up before, but due to Chris's schedule, I'd like to move the rest of the finance committees for the rest of the year, the finance committee meetings for the rest of the year to 4 p.m. on the same day. If that works for everybody.
Let me
So
check with Jerry.
check with who?
Let me check with Jerry, see if it's okay.
I'm not canceling the
Well-
meetings, just moving the time.
But your hours are,
We've talked about it before,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's fine, I
so.
just will flex my time.
She has to come into work at 9 that day. Sorry, you have to sleep in. But so starting in September, then we're gonna be switching the meeting time for the rest of the year to 4 p.m. on the same day, so. So, and then hopefully we can get Chris coming in. But I'd also like there to be identified two community member positions for the board, and we'll work to identify another person as well. But I think it's past time that we have some community. There's never been that I've ever seen a community member on the finance committee, but I think there really should be. So,
We had Joe Del Forty.
oh, we did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Joe was here.
a few years.
Yeah, Joe was here.
2 or 3 years.
I don't know who other than that.
don't
So
think-
I don't.
wasn't There was somebody, anyways, it
Yeah.
don't matter.
Well, I don't know. So we don't need to change like a resolution in town, or I think just within this committee for adding committee members. Okay. And then a quorum would be 2/3. So if we had, well, I'd like to add another person. It'll end up being 4 initially, which will be myself, Dave and Jess and Chris. And then I'd like to add that 5th person eventually. So, okay. So if everybody's good with that.
Additionally, I believe beginning in September, maybe October, I can't recall. The meetings won't be held in this
No,
Okay.
can't
room.
hold them
It'll
in
be
here anymore.
moved into the courtroom.
Okay.
Depending on, so this is actually a Thursday meeting, so Thursdays at 4.
There's
is
court.
There's
So
always
we'll
the
probably,
highway facility too.
so maybe we'll move it
Maybe
over
go
to
over
the
there.
highway conference
We
room.
If you got it, are you
Yeah, I
good?
mean, it's usually open.
Can we get in there with our key at 4?
No,
I'll have to
we can't
ask.
get in, someone will have to let us in, or
Yeah,
I can go over early and make sure that everyone gets
well, we're
in.
there till 4:30 anyways.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Do we
fine.
need to lock or what? I mean, we can talk about it
No,
later, but
no,
okay. It'll auto lock.
I
Okay.
just do it with my phone.
Okay, and we can zoom in there, right, too? So
Oh,
you
yeah.
mean the one right next to your office?
Yeah, the
Okay.
conference room. Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Gunundawa?
Yeah, sure.
Is it the Ganun?
It's
Well,
No,
called
you're the
Highway Conference
PPW
Room.
guy.
It's,
Not Oriana. I know
no,
that.
it's.
This is where everybody knows Oriana, and that
It might
one's
be
on
Ganun.
Alinda, I think, but
It's a long word.
Don't ask me.
Gunundawa.
it's
Ganundawa?
Ganundawa. Okay.
Which
I
is
usually
funny
never-
because
It's the
I-
highway conference room.
I
Yeah.
had a truck driver once when I worked at a different job, and he asked me where Canandaigua was,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because he was from Canada and he thought that's how you said it.
Canandaigua.
Canandaigua. And
Yeah.
so when you say Canandaigua, I'm
Well,
like,
that's
that's
what-
probably where Canandaigua
That is
came
where it
from,
came
right?
from. Exactly.
So
So
he was
that's
actually more right than he.
that's why they named the boats those
It's a
names.
pretty name.
Okay, so I'll figure out what the name is of that room and we'll
Highway
just start
conference
that
room.
in
Yeah, highway
September
conference.
then.
Highway conference room.
We'll just start that in September too, so
Okay.
that it is all one press release.
Yeah, so And that'll go for all meetings that are normally held in this room. They're gonna be relocated because during the renovation and the moving,
Oh,
before the renovation, we're gonna be using this room for staff.
These will be
so-
office.
What are we gonna do with our
Offices.
fantabulous posters?
Well,
I
they'll
mean,
stay-
if we
They'll
need
probably
them,
stay.
they can
stay up, they'll stay
move,
up here
but
during
if not, they'll
renovation.
just stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not, they'll stay up here, they're not in the way.
That's what we did when we did the highway barn, they just all stayed in the walls.
Yeah.
We were over here, so.
Okay, cool. All right, so you'll see that then for September. It's gonna be moving to the highway conference room if the highway department's happy with that. And it'll be 4 PM, so. Okay, review of financial reports. So I had a couple questions. I was also asking you guys upstairs as well. So the first one's the very second thing on the page. Jess, what's the special assessment pilot? I might have asked you this before. I'm just wondering why that's
It's
way
high
out.
because I need to, in this town board meeting, I would probably, I meant to do it last month, but anyway, there's a portion that we pass through to,
It's a
the city
pass-through.
of school district and the county, I believe.
Okay.
So we collect it and then we disperse. it.
Okay.
So,
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure there was nothing funky happening there. We are starting, next page, we're still running a little low on the attorney. We're at 32%. I think, what are we supposed to be at, like 45 now, something like that for the rest of the year?
I know.
But
mean,
it's,
we're
I
done.
just keeping an eye on it again, because in case. we
Yeah,
need to
we're
put more
watching
in,
rather than
so.
do an extra budget transfer
Yeah,
proactively. We'll just wait until we get close enough to need it.
yeah,
Things have slowed down. They've been more streamlined with him.
Good.
He said that it's better with the development office.
oh, good.
So we'll kind of hold on that for right now.
Okay, and then halfway down the page, 1620 buildings, capital equipment. That's at 4%. I assume that's for our renovation that we're doing, but that's pretty low. I don't know what else is planned out of that.
I don't have that one in front of you. Jess, do you have that in front of you?
It was, so the original budget was $15,000. The total current budget is 250 and change. So I think that's where we tossed in everything for this renovation. And then it says period activity was $0, fiscal activity 242 and change. The variance is 12,000, which leaves it at 4%. So I don't know what's up with that. It's probably just whatever we've paid for the renovation of town hall, is my guess.
I
I
thought
just,
We had a capital line for
We
that.
do.
I thought we did too. That's why I'm like, I don't know what it's floating around, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's weird.
I'm trying to pull this too.
It's 1620.200 when you get there.
Yes, we-
I don't know if this, you wanna look at it?
No, it's okay. I'm waiting for it to come up in here.
It's in your email too, Jared, from this.
They won't open.
Oh,
Okay, so
second page, about halfway down the middle of the page. 1620.200, it's got 4% over on the end.
So that's a capital line.
Yeah.
It looks like that's for this building. Cause
We could
the
use
two,
that.
it's probably where we tossed our 250. It's just a funky, I don't know, it was a funky place for it, the number's funky, and I'm bringing it up because it's funky. As long as there's a reason and a purpose and it makes sense to somebody, I'm okay with it, but it's currently kind of funky, so.
yeah, I think that's where we put the 250.
It would look like that, because it looks like the total
Yeah.
original budget was 15,000, and then it went up to 255. So we must have stuck 240 in there. It says fiscal activity 242,600.
So that means.
So we must have put
that we
242
put it
in there.
In there, and then the fiscal activity means we took it out, moved it into the capital project.
Yeah, okay.
So there's 12,302. That's kind of
Yeah,
like from the original
remaining.
budget. for
Yeah.
That thing, so that's fine.
Okay, I'm just making sure that that
Yeah.
makes sense to everybody,
No.
so.
I gotcha.
Okay, and then we already talked about this one, Jess, but a few rows down, the data processing contractuals in the negative right now, and we're fixing that apparently.
So, yeah, we did a resolution earlier in the year, to utilize the technology reserve to cover the switch over to our, remote server.
Mhm.
And so I kind of was waiting to see exactly what needed to be moved before I
Yeah.
moved it. So it's running in the negative right now, but we should be, within the next month, we should have pretty much all those expenses billed and paid for, so we'll know how much.
And there will be a resolution for another block
Uh-huh.
of time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They've asked, and I've shared that, they've asked for, we need another 200 hours.
Yeah.
So that'll roll into this again.
Correct.
doesn't
Is
it?
what it is.
Yeah.
Bottom, last line of the page, this is probably you, Jim, the street lighting contractual. It's AA 151.82.400. It had, original budget was 25,000, fiscal activities 20,000, and there's just under 5 left. Does that make sense?
It's light for this time of year.
Actually,
Yeah. That's why I was just wanting to bring it up, so. I just bring up stuff that's a little off of where,
there
because for
may
whatever
be
reason.
some street lighting in there that needs to be moved to a different line. Because I think the bid.
We were talking about
There
that.
was
Might have had some
street
money.
lighting budgeted,
Mhm.
utilities budgeted, in the bid area.
Mhm.
But when the bills came, they weren't, it wasn't very clear to me that that's what they were for, because there's some weird name like,
Okay,
so actually those, bills for that, I have to pull up those, bills for that specific account and
Okay.
then move that. So that'll actually get a little better, but it is
So it
something
might
we'll have
just
to
be-
monitor.
in the
Yeah.
weird spot.
But
Okay,
that'll take it up to closer to half, would you assume that was a decent amount, wasn't it?
No, I don't think,
75, no?
I don't know. I couldn't,
Okay.
I couldn't say. off the top of my head.
I'm just, you know me, I'm just bringing up weird stuff.
Yeah.
And just making sure somebody's paying attention to it, so.
Mhm.
Next page. Celebrations contractual, do we have any more celebrations planned? Because we got $500 left.
Again.
We do, because we have our employee recognition, which I'm still
Okay.
that'll be the 14th. We're trying to line it up for September 14th or 21st,
What did we spend 18 grand on?
Where's that?
fireworks.
Oh, you put fireworks in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then it's good to get a food truck here, it's gonna be about $15,
Okay.
15 to 17 per person, which it beats schlepping all over the place and cooking stuff, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
So that's the plan.
We're just gonna take
times
that from
50. So
general
Some
unassigned.
of it'll come out of there, and
Contingency, probably.
we also
Okay.
have other employee recognition.
Yeah.
Funding that we can pull it out of for that, so
Okay, I was just wondering.
we'll have garbage plates and then we'll,
Not bad, yeah.
we know.
You said 14th of September?
14th or the 21st are the dates that we're,
Is that-
we don't have them booked yet. Those are just the potential dates.
Isn't the 14th of Saturday?
It is. No,
Maybe.
yes.
Then maybe it's
Yeah,
something.
because the 12th,
I might be in the wrong day.
Maybe it was the 12th and the 19th or something like that, but it's sometime, there are 2 days in September I've got to look at.
You want to do a weekend?
No.
Okay. So 12th is a Thursday,
It's
13th is Friday, Friday the
Friday the
13th,
13th.
my 55th wedding anniversary.
congrats.
Were you married?
Where
on
Mary Ann
Friday?
says the best 10 years of her life.
So it's 21st and 14th are both Saturdays, so
Then I
you,
have then the day, we'll figure it out and we'll get it to you, but
okay.
Jim and Lindsay met.
You're
and they
thinking
came up.
evening or midday or what? were you
No, it'd be
thinking?
lunchtime.
Lunchtime, okay.
Yeah.
All right, don't pick a Tuesday.
I won't be here the 12th. I'm gonna be in Las Vegas.
Oh, well, you're already recognizing your
Wow.
fabulousness in Las
Look at
Vegas
that.
then. Wow. Okay, where was I?
I guess that discussion from yesterday paid off.
All right, moving down, same page, code enforcement, capital equipment and code enforcement contractual. are we concerned? Those are both pretty low. The capital equipment is at basically done. I don't know if we paid a salary out of that.
No.
And the contractual is at 19%.
No, so the code enforcement, capital equipment, I think whatever they planned on purchasing, they purchased.
So they're done with it.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well. Is that the vehicle?
that's the vehicle, I think.
Okay, so she need a PO in there
Right,
Yes.
it's encumbering.
encumbering that
Mhm.
amount, so it's
Okay.
down. And then I'm hoping, I should say I'm hoping, we should take the sale, which we got the money for,
We need to take the sale from the.
from the car that's going to pay for the balance of what this vehicle's coming in at.
Okay. And
Okay,
apply it
because it
there.
wasn't, our budget last year wasn't enough for the vehicle this year, but because we sold this,
It does.
this,
Yeah.
the escape, it went back into your revenue for that
Got it.
vehicle. But we could use that to move over to this line to pay
Yeah.
for it.
Awesome. Okay.
If
That makes sense. Yep. mhm,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
not really
making
how
sure.
it works, but sure.
It's close.
Pretty much.
That's the layman's understanding, okay?
Yeah,
An executive summary. That's right.
Don't question Jess.
It'll work out.
And the
just
code
fine.
It makes
enforcement
sense.
contractual should be okay too. Because that's at under
Yes.
20.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. That probably is
Yeah, they just
all.
do a lot of their spending earlier in the year.
Oh, and Jim, I asked you about the highway one, the highway permanent improvements. We were
Yeah.
just talking about that upstairs.
And
That's on page 5 of 17 it says on mine, which is not an actual page 5, but, well, maybe it is a page 5. Yeah, page 5 of 17, but you were saying that's related to chips.
Yeah, so in the revenue for last year, we were getting, I don't know, say 480,000 or 498,000 from the state. And we've put projects against it, and there's reimbursement that should be coming. Probably October, we'll see the reimbursement for that line.
Cool. So that's normal that that's down, and I think that's all I
Yes.
had that was funky. Other than fun things that happen in the special districts all the time. But I think we're good. So, all right, cool. Anybody else have any questions from the finance reports? All right, cool. I like how this says 2025 budget creation update, like it's a
Well, there's certain words you
creation.
can and cannot use. You
It's a
can't use preliminary or
creation.
tentative.
no,
so
we
this
can't,
is-
Yeah.
because those are
We are-
like legally.
Those
We
are legally.
mandated.
We are creating it.
Yeah.
It's
We
like-
are in the,
It
yeah.
could be like, so it sounds like, it's kind of biblical. It's kind of cool. So.
So what you guys have there, you have two spreadsheets in front of you. I apologize that one printed on big paper and one printed on Davy paper. It makes it a little bit smaller to see. I went in and I put in all the requests. And if you look at the 2025 budget, that would be if we did nothing.
Which one? On the big one or the little one?
If we look, the big one's highway, they're both, the big
Okay,
one's
this is
highway, the
highway,
little
okay.
one's general fund. The tax rate, the tax rate is the same on each of them because that's where they're funded from. So this just gives an idea of the funding that we are kind of pulling from as we look at this. It's not, I wanted to share this from the very beginning. It's not set in stone. This is what then we go back and we start chipping away at to see where we want to be and where we want to get. I just wanted to get this in front of everybody from the very beginning.
So this just includes all of our dreams and wishes.
This is everybody's requests if everything was funded, and these pages aren't gonna make a whole lot of sense to people because they're my notes, but
Are those numbers on the end?
these are the numbers, yeah.
Okay, I just curious.
This is
Yeah,
reminding me
this
of a
is- this is
conversation
the-
Terry and
this
I
is the
had last year.
breakdown. This is just the breakdown of where everything is, from the highway. And I just went through with the key expenses. And I put them, in this document, just so you can kind of see where some of the changes are. And personal services, there are two requests for new positions in the regular operating budget in the general fund.
This one
Um,
is highway and this one
yeah.
is town.
Yeah, they're not labeled, and I apologize. I just.
Well, I
put it off.
figured it out because we don't do a lot
I
of
just put
chips
it
You'll
off.
see
in the
snow on
town.
the first one, so,
What's that?
you'll see snow on this one, so.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have people shoveling to save money. So a couple of requests were, there was a request for a director of recreation. There was a request for the new SWIP position that would be shared with the city and wouldn't be that 65,000. But those are a couple of the big changes here. There are other, and this kind of shows what people have asked for. You can see the court, you can see the justices and the clerks. On average, people who had employment agreements and others, the increase was 3%. On average, other increases ranged up to 10, 12, 14%. All the justifications for these numbers are in the budget that I gave you, where the department heads, the thick packet. That's where all the justifications are included. So you have that in front of you. This is just my cheat sheet to make sure I hit most of it. And then on the highway side, we have 45 included for the assistant superintendent position. We don't know what it's called. We don't know what the name will be. And that 45,000 would only take a person and give them that new responsibility. It doesn't create a new position. Because we don't have a spot in here. You didn't request a new position.
No, we just threw.
This
we
is
Put
just
some money in there just to see.
to see, this is 45 to take somebody existing, give them more responsibilities, get them training, get them shadowing, get them having more, some of that.
Is this for
operational
water or
experience.
highway?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh.
so water would be the other 45.
Okay.
So that's where we are right there.
So what does the deputy highway do so
So per highway law, you have to have a deputy highway superintendent, and their position is to be in charge when I am not
okay,
able to be here for whatever reason.
is that the person that we're intending to have in this assistant role or no?
No, it'll be
Different
somebody
person.
else.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
Yeah, you really have to talk about and think about what the responsibilities would be, and
Yeah.
then there's a lot of questions. I remember the last discussion we had relating to, how that fits with county job position.
yeah.
There are some issues there that you have
Because
to
we're.
kind
yeah,
of navigate
100%.
around, so.
Because we're dealing with a union,
Yeah.
we're dealing with civil service,
Civil service.
and we're dealing with highway law. Because you still have the highway deputy position, still have the deputy supervisor, superintendent position.
Yeah.
Who by law has authority. If Jim's out of town or whatever, or anything else.
Yeah.
So we've got three
Yeah.
areas we're working through.
You
But-
could call it a minefield, I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't, at least this is one that for our discussions, is
Yeah.
something that is needed. It's
Yeah.
not something I'm intending to take out. So that is one that'll stay, so we can start down that road.
Mhm.
We don't know how long it's gonna take us, but the money will be there, so we can start moving down that road. And
So-
start getting somebody in that position.
Forgive my ignorance, but are we planning to give one person a $45,000 raise? Is that what the intent is with
the
this?
intent,
or-
my understanding is there'll be, no, so 45 from water, 45 from highway.
So I was gonna actually say that, so technically you are creating a new position.
Yes. we
Because,
are.
because when you calculated your, employee wages, you didn't take out one
I
person,
didn't,
so, yeah, so this is an additional.
Okay.
right. So. but
Okay, so
it
back to
was-
but I'm confused as to what the intent is here. So person A is currently working for the highway. And person A is going to is intended to be trained as the assistant superintendent. And person A currently makes what?
Around 75,
Okay, so is the intent to bring them up to whatever,
Maybe 90.
115?
no, 90, so
90.
40 and 45 is 90.
Okay,
it'll
but they're
bring that
making
because-
75 right now.
Right,
I'm confused.
I'm confused then, so,
This, it says assistant superintendent, 45,000 new. But you're saying it's 45 on highway side and the water side.
Yeah.
So it's 90, not 45.
Well, I think.
I mean, this is a gross summary.
Yeah,
of
This is
everything.
just the highway
This is
part.
summary of the highway.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Okay.
see water. Did you put 45?
I don't,
Okay, so, but I'm back to what I was saying, I'm so confused. So if they're at 70 and change and you want to bring them up to 90, what is the 45 for then?
That would be half of the salary from the B line, and
Okay,
the other half we pay from the special water side.
Just like,
okay,
we pay, our water senior clerk and our water clerk and Jim, they get paid half from here. and half
but
from
there's
there.
not a net increase of 45 then.
Oh, there is.
There is, because we're taking, so you, in order, if by taking this person and getting them trained and getting them more in a supervisory position, knowing the nuts and bolts, you are then taking somebody off of the MEO line
Right.
of driving a truck daily, of doing those things
So we're bringing
daily.
someone into that
then-
position?
So basically,
Okay.
this person would bump
Got
from
it.
75 to 90. And then a
Okay.
new person would come in at starting MEO
Wages.
wages.
45 or something, okay,
Yeah, so we'd have to back, so one person
okay,
bumps
now I
and
got
then
it,
we have to backfill.
got it.
so your thought is to take somebody from current staff that you have
Ranks.
Right,
and move them into this role.
right.
Is there somebody?
Yes, there is, that I have in mind, but
Do we have
we
to
don't have a,
officially post and interview
That's
for it
where-
though?
And that's
Yeah.
where the whole like civil service part comes into
Oh,
play.
yeah, it's gonna be tricky too, because, you know, half the job's elected and half's appointed.
right,
I mean, your position.
Right.
That's
this one,
his, yeah.
but,
that's
Yeah.
his.
You know, to have somebody be the assistant highway superintendent, how does that fit with?
It might.
Are they
Election
gonna be
law.
assistant highway and water?
yes.
Well, it's,
So that way there we have somebody in both roles
It's-
now. Go ahead, Jerry.
it's gonna have to be a name that fits civil service. It might not be assistant highway superintendent.
Yeah,
It might be
right.
operations assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that title might be that gets us into that, that gets us down that line. Because.
Vice president of water and
So it's gotta,
highway.
it's gotta be operate- whatever the county, we can come up with
Operations
county wise.
Yeah, something that fits with their,
Yeah,
It's gotta fit within
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then the person also has to be somebody who could 5 to 10 years down the road,
run.
the goal is to get them trained up and be the next,
Right.
somebody who could make that run. And that's the other catchy part, because you gotta find somebody who would be
Well, or it could be-
electable and everything else.
I mean, it's up to Jim too, but it, or it could be water and high, Jim, you know, whatever it is, it's
Could.
your future to figure out how you want to do that, but,
Yeah.
but at some point, you're gonna have too much work.
Yeah,
So,
but I think the point for the town is
Get somebody in there that,
not just
Yeah.
this position, but. others
Develop a
also.
bench, have a
Yeah.
little bit of a
Kind of
bench
have
there.
people
so.
there too.
we are
don't
understaffed
have-
throughout the whole town
So.
for what we're bringing in, I think, right now,
You know, so that's part of it.
unfortunately.
One of our biggest goal, our hurdles would be, what is the title?
Yeah,
And then what does that title mean for civil service? Then is it a provisional to a written exam?
yeah,
Is given, and if there is a written exam and say they don't do well, someone else does,
yeah.
you know, I mean, it's just. I know what we're trying to do, I just don't, right now have not a good idea how to get there.
So we've gotta fund it first. Once we fund it, then we can start worrying about.
Well, I think
We're
you
gonna
do,
get
you
there.
do also, even though you have somebody in mind, I think you do still have to go at it with the attitude of maybe somebody even better will appear in the process. You never know. I mean,
Do we have 40, do we have
Just-
45 in water? Did you?
Okay.
You don't see
but
that,
you know
so
what
we
I
need to
mean?
make
Like
sure
it
that goes
just,
in there.
it's not likely if you got somebody who already knows everything we're doing, so, but,
Yeah.
but you never know. So,
And then
Understood, I
Lindsay's
just
numbers are
don't,
gonna change too.
I fear we get in the budget, if the board decides to, then we can start
I think she told you.
moving
she-
forward with how we're gonna accomplish
Yeah.
this.
But we're gonna have one.
You have to be aware also, there could be some criticism, some outcry that you're more or less picking the next highway superintendent by doing this. You know.
Yeah, but it's a vote.
But, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying,
you're giving somebody a hand up at the
somebody
very
might,
least,
yeah, I mean,
so.
they're gonna know
yeah.
the drill, they
Yeah.
got the. Like up, I mean, whether it's good or bad, doesn't, you know,
It's, yeah.
it's
the
just
system.
there are a lot of,
You can always pick someone who doesn't live in the town of Canandaigua. And you're not picking anybody.
But then the whole point, but the whole point of, and I want to bring us back, the whole point of this discussion is to have that bench, to
Yes.
be able to step in and do
Yes.
that. So we need to have somebody
Yes.
who, we
Mhm.
live in a system where the roles, our roles are elected,
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
this role is elected. We need to target and find someone who could
Right.
funnel in and who could take that step.
Mhm.
Because if we find somebody who lives in, I don't know, let's say Seneca County.
In like
She's not
Waterloo
listening
or
to me.
something.
Yeah, and we bring them in and they're awesome. Then do they move to run? You know, that's,
They'd have to move here.
they'd have to
run
move
the
here to
job.
run. So I
And they have to
think,
live here for a year.
yeah, I think we gotta find someone
mean,
who,
It's just,
Well, at any rate,
Oh,
the one thing I
yeah.
would say about it, I get what you're doing, all of it. By the time we get to the preliminary budget, that's got to be more clearly spelled out how that money's working. Because right now it sounds like you're hiding something, even though I know you're not. But the whole
Yeah.
process of explaining it is super duper confusing. So I don't know if there's a way to say the 45,000 is for a new machine operator or whatever it may be, but whatever that answer is, figure it out in a more clear way than what
We're
we just
saying
went through
today,
here. So, because
I'll
that's gonna
disagree.
be,
I
that's
mean, it
gonna
could
be
be
super
60 for a
confusing.
new MEO and it could be the difference there that the person would get for a operations, assistant operations. I don't know.
yeah, I
That's
don't know
where
how to,
Mhm.
I know what you're saying. I
I-
just don't know how that's.
we all,
gonna
yeah,
work.
none of us.
Well, you got a
it's,
month to figure it out, so I just,
Okay.
whatever it is, don't do it like this.
No, you go upstairs and you go into Lindsay's office and
Yes.
say,
that's
figure
what
this
she's
out
been-
by the,
She's been
I'm
working
sure
on
she,
it,
yeah.
but if they don't exist,
That's,
then we've got to.
There's gotta be like a planning
But
public
we've gotta,
works or something
we've gotta
like that.
create the job description, then the county has to say, yes,
Yeah.
it fits, and we give you our blessing.
it fits what, though? I mean, it fits a
They
current
look-
title that they have,
They might
or,
look across the state, they might look at the whole state civil service and say, yes, somewhere something like this exists.
Mhm.
So this fits that lineup. So it matches that, so yes, this title in New York State somewhere matches that description. Therefore, yes, you can have
Didn't
that.
Victor have a director of
but if you
operations?
don't have, if there isn't one, then everybody has to be civil service. I mean, every position,
Every position we have is civil service,
Yeah.
Except for us.
except for the elected officials.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's a have to. I mean, all the way down to school cafeteria, people who work in the cafeterias
Yeah.
of school,
Yeah.
that's civil service. People, you know, all those,
Yeah.
everything all through that line is civil service. Which it creates protection, but it also creates hoops.
well, yeah, but yeah, it creates protection, but it can protect the wrong people too.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
the
So,
way it is, so.
but that's. the
Stop trying to
goal.
share your lifetime's acquired wisdom with everyone,
So
Terry.
that's the goal of that. Did you update that? Jeff, thank you.
Okay, I understand that then, but I do think we need to somehow outline that so that it's more clear, you know,
I'm
there's
with
a,
you.
yeah.
You just show it and step, you know.
Because I was a little,
notes
I
and
was a little
steps.
confused too, because it wasn't in. Just added it
That
in
was my
water.
fault.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I mean,
okay.
you
Yeah.
can't,
That's okay.
can you not do, you said he's going from what, 70 something to 90?
90.
So you can't do like a $20,000 adjustment and say, you know, for XYZ new named position, and then also do a second line that is whatever amount you need to
new
bring in
MEO.
another MEO.
You could do
So-
a stipend.
But I mean, yeah, that might.
That's an annual thing that
Right.
you would do in your budget.
I mean, just to
It-
make it more clear that we're creating this,
Yeah.
someone is moving into this role that is intended to pay this amount. And, you know, someone else needs to potentially fill in. I mean, you're probably gonna ask us for another MEO by August anyway, even if you don't hire that person for it. You know what I'm saying?
I
So-
understand.
So, but I think that would be more clear to people that, okay, someone's getting additional responsibilities, so their job role, and it would be more obvious that this new job, whatever it is going to exist,
Mhm.
so. It would just be more clear if it said, if it was indicated,
Yeah,
position
just-
A, position B,
Will be.
you know, so.
Yep.
But, okay,
What's our, where MEO start?
20, 57 and change, I believe
So
it
it's
is.
about
So
56,
55.
55,
56.
five,
Yeah, they
56.
go up to 32 in 3 years. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
Okay.
somewhere in that, say 28 to 32 is the range.
You guys can figure it out. I just think that that would be,
Yeah,
More
it's easiest
clear.
way is just to show the increase, the person you're moving
Yeah.
in, going up 28 or whatever it is. You're gonna backfill the position with a new,
So I made a note of that, for a new MEO would be 65. And an assistant operations director or whatever it might be, a stipend of 20 or 25, whatever that might end up being. And that still is the same as the 90
Right.
for
Yeah.
both. All right,
and then if you do happen to bring in somebody that's not the person you currently identified, then, you know, that'll still work out because you can just transfer it all into one line for that new title or whatever it is, so. But you know what I mean?
I do.
So,
yeah, it's been challenging, but we're trying
yeah,
to get through it. Okay. Are there any other? So just to go through this real quick, so if everything was funded as requested, our tax rate would jump from 76 to $1.45 per
see,
thousand.
this is what Terry and I were saying last year. I mean, both Terry and I were like, why are we going all the way down to 76 when we're just gonna have
Right.
to turn it around and go way up
So
again this
my
year?
goal, the goal for next year is that 82-cent range roughly.
Yeah.
Because right now a penny is about 12.5-ish because
Oh, I thought it was 10,000.
well, that's now, well, the,
inflation.
yeah. And it's copper.
Penny's worth
no,
$12,000.
The price of copper's gone up,
Yeah.
so copper's more
Price of
expensive.
everything.
So
Can
that's,
you, will
that's
you give me
because our,
12,000 for my penny?
No. that's because our assessed value before any before any deductions or any exemptions, our assessed value is back up over 2 billion. It's like 2.2 billion. Our taxable is down to, and it's on here somewhere, our taxable is 1.957. So we're up about 27 million dollars this year over last year. So we were able to tax on 1.957 billion. Our overall book for like fire and things like that is just north of 2 billion, or something like 2.1. So my goal is to keep it around 82 cents. We also need to discuss what we want to do as far as funding for some of the other projects that we have, if we want to at this point. Start throwing in money for North Road and specifically call that out. Because I'm not comfortable rolling it in, but as Jim and I talked, if we say the tax rate's 82, but it's going to be 87 because 5 cents of that is going to go towards funding for North Road, the sidewalks that will be there.
Don't call it the sidewalks. It's so much more than
Well,
just the
complete
sidewalk.
street, yeah, I'm just using that right now. So you've got, so overall revenue is up about 400,000. Expenditures are pretty consistent. Our expenditures are up 7% over last year. This is just for the general fund.
I was gonna say, what is what amount are you planning to snag from the general fund unassigned to toss into it?
I kept those pretty consistent. I'm trying to find where that is. Appropriated fund balance, 600,000. It's a little bit more than last year, but less than the year before.
Where is that on there?
That is.
Oh, I see there. Okay, bottom.
Revenue line, 600,000, right
yeah.
before the dotted line. Sales tax, I kept pretty consistent. Last year we had 2.75. This year I put 2.9 in. Sales tax has increased for Q3 from the county, which is good. We can't go too crazy with it, so that's still conservative. We were still high last year at 2.875 plus what we have allocated for highway. Cable fee stays the same.
So you essentially got it flat.
Other fees are pretty much the income. The other thing that I changed our interest income. That was 80. I moved that up some to closer to 2 because we've been
Way over.
We've been consistently getting more than 80 a year. We might get 80 in a every other month from some of our investment income. And then the other one, dog licenses are actually gonna be fixed now based on population of the town. So the county is, for us, it's a slight increase. For some places like the city of Geneva, they're gonna be assessed, their dog license assessment's gonna go up $6,000 or $7,000 from the county. So like from 20 to 27, because they're doing it based on population of the municipality, not on perceived number of dogs that are reported, because not dogs are all reported.
Can you do me a favor when you get this for when you're finalizing this for the preliminary? Can you do the every other line grayed out color thing?
I'll think about it.
Will you that would be
I'll give you a
helpful.
highlighter.
I have highlighter. It's a town supplied
I'll give
highlighter.
you a gray highlighter.
But that would be helpful.
Can't use this size paper.
Yes, that would also. be
I'm
helpful.
working on it. This is a quick one. I'm working, we'll get.
That's fine. I just,
We'll get it.
it's easier for old eyes. to
Oh,
see
me
the-
too.
the
Yeah,
numbers.
none of us can
Yeah.
actually see this.
No, I'm just making this. as
We're all
I'm
wearing
reading this,
glasses, so.
As I'm looking at this small
Can't even
one,
see it with my glasses.
I'm just making up these numbers. I
Yeah.
don't even know what I'm reading.
Okay.
Personnel is pretty consistent. Capital equipment the proposed is about 300,000 more. Codes. Our code enforcement budget is about 200 and let's say 240 maybe this right now. Murph is proposing taking that to about 410,000, which is still less than Farmington and still less than Victor, even though we do a comparable amount of business to what they do. That includes outfitting everybody with all the same equipment, all the same tools, so that when they're on the job site, they can do any sort of inspection that they might need to do. It also includes so they all have vehicles outfitted and more trucks than small little SUVs, which are very difficult for some of the job sites.
Well, again, that's an area that this really needs to be beefed up and
Yeah.
have a deeper bench, so.
So that includes 3 in codes. Sam just started, Kyle and Murph, plus the shared SWIP between us and the city, if that goes through. So that's.
And how much are we putting towards that one?
What?
The shared SWIP.
The shared SWIP, it would be half of
It was
65.
65, 30, 25.
Yeah.
Is that something the city has agreed to? or-
No, and I don't know if they will. It was pretty quiet.
Oh, you guys met with him?
Yeah, John didn't say much. He just listened and,
He's busy making those signs for Lake Shore.
well, I've got something else to share too.
Mhm.
But he, I don't know how he took it, because even though we just got the information that day, it was kind of, it felt like he had the feeling that we'd already combined on this and kind of pre-planned it and then sprung it on him when our decision was already made. So if it's not the city, Farmington is interested in working with us.
That's what I was gonna
with it
say. I
as
wonder
well.
if they would be too.
We actually put in, into the budget, the full 65.
Yeah, because we would pay the person and then we would be reimbursed. They would be our employee and the city would reimburse us.
Or
Okay, so
Farmington.
We
Yeah.
should be adding that into,
Benefits.
Revenue.
into our revenue,
Mhm.
so.
So do you want to do that? Do a little 32.5.
That's
revenue?
2 cents right there.
All right. The other ones are pretty consistent. Some of, contractual dropped a little bit. I did include a number in here for MRB group, because in meeting with Greg Hotelli, he said years ago, we had a line to help offset the average homeowner who might have to do engineering on their property. Say, Terry, you want to do something and you pay your surety and you put up your silt fence and do everything else, and then an MRB, you pay $1,200. MRB has to come through and check all the boxes, and they charge you $250. So of your $1,200, you've just lost, 20% of it. So I included some to help offset that for some of the homeowners and others who just, as part of our rules and regulations, they get caught in that, not the big people, but just those small ones.
Just a little history that was pretty contentious when Westbrook was supervisor.
Yeah, he took it down, he got rid of it.
He got
Yeah.
rid of it because he felt that everybody should pay for their projects.
Mhm.
The board was divided but it did get removed out of the budget. And it has been back since.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it either. Obviously, I don't want everybody to have to pay crazy exorbitant fees and costs, but you know, I haven't done anything on my property, so I would never have to pay, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
subsidizing someone else who is
Yeah,
then
that's
doing it.
not,
So,
Yeah.
you want it to be fair. you
So
know,
we
that's-
can, yeah, I put it in there and then we can have discussion and whatever direction the board goes. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
just,
Give you a little history why it went
Yeah.
away.
yeah,
I mean, I would think it would be kind of controversial,
Yeah.
you know, unless there's a way for there to be a cost savings with MRB because
Mm-hmm.
it's through the town, like, I don't, would they charge an individual 250 and they charge the town 200? I mean,
right.
I don't know. I have no idea, but that's
Right.
my only question
Okay.
on it, is if it's somehow separating it out in 15 different groups, making it more expensive than
Yeah.
it would be if they were doing, today's the day we do the town again, you know what I mean?
So just, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're aware that as you're looking through things,
Yeah,
that was one of the things in there. So make a note of it if it's something that you don't like.
which line is that on?
I
That's on-
don't-
You're not creating it yet.
that's-
I don't
think
recall. It's in one of these. It's in,
I think it's-
Is that something you're a big fan of doing?
I mean, I think a lot of feedback that I get from small people, I mean, if you're on a limited budget.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do something and get it done and a town's you're being mandated to do
Mandated
these
to do
things that aren't typical.
It's under the general
Yeah.
engineering line 1440,400.
1440,400 is where it is. if you wanna write that down. I mean, I could go either way.
Yeah.
There had been question about that and there had been some requests for that. I know that our development office. They appreciate it more because they get a lot of pushback on the fees that are being charged.
Okay,
I honestly, I could go either way. I'm not married. I just put it in there out of,
Hmm.
to have the
from
discussion.
conversation to have the discussion.
Here's one of the questions I would have is how we have people post a surety, you know, MRB reviews, whatever they gotta do, and say, yeah, costs $1,232. How often do we have to go in and tap that to do the work because
I don't know.
the homeowner didn't? I've not heard very
In the
often
last,
that that's
in the
happened.
last 2 years, I haven't seen many that have come back through that haven't been,
No,
that we've had to pay for, other than the only one that we came close to having to take care of is like Fox Ridge, and that wouldn't fit under this because that's a development and this is not a
Single
singular
family.
person.
no, as if there's a way to soften that somehow by telling them they have to post 50% of it.
Yeah,
And as long as we don't have to tap it,
or loosen our
They get
surety
that.
rules.
tell them this is what it would be, but we're only gonna somehow
It's a good point.
soften it a little bit.
Soften it, but then also,
It's different with the big developments for
Oh,
sure.
them,
I mean,
no,
that's
I wouldn't.
totally-
and then if our codes is larger and our codes can review it and say it's
Mhm.
fine and sign off on it, that would be our policy. I don't think.
So
that's state
are we
law.
talking about like adding an addition on your home, putting in a pool, that kind of stuff?
Things like that, if you need to turn around and. do-
So
Well,
if your
single family
pool, if your
home,
pool floods all the neighbor's house and we have to come in and fix it, that's
But
what we're
that-
using. the
No,
surety
the
for.
surety would be done once
No.
your pool's done.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
get your surety back.
Let's say you're putting an 8x8 addition on the back.
Yeah.
And they just need a inspection for the rough framing.
Mhm.
Or MRB needs to review something. That's what we're trying to avoid, is tacking on another fee. I also think maybe there might be some policy for the development office where
Yeah.
if the board decides to do this, you get once, but we have to come back again and then there's a fee.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't send MRB out 3 times to look at something.
Yeah,
Maybe send them out once for something, but if it's repetitive, then.
so MRB is going out to examine that they're doing it correctly, not our.
I'm
code
just using
enforcement?
examples, that's what I'm getting at. I'm
No, but I
not-
mean, like, if you put an 8x8 addition on it, it's not our
No.
code enforcement checking on it, it's MRB?
No, it's code
That's
enforcement, I'm
code,
sorry.
Codes.
Okay.
I was just trying to make a simple.
But let's say if you were building on a steep slope and you had to put in a silt fence for
Okay.
soil
Yep.
control,
Mhm.
that's what triggers the surety.
Okay,
Like when I did my work, I didn't have to put up any surety because there was no impact on anything else off my site. It was flat. Nothing happened. There was nothing else going on. I didn't have to come up with that. But if I was on the side of a hill then I'd have to put up my silt fence, I'd have to do other things to make sure that it was done correctly. That would have to be reviewed and say, yep, that's stabilized, the job is done, the soil's stabilized, you can remove everything. You're finished.
I'll give you an example of what our recent business on 332, the diversified
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah.
MRB went out to visit each soil inspection of the SWIP. Those people weren't necessarily informed of the actual fees that would come each time they would go out there. Now, it's a business, but what I'm getting at is like, maybe some of this could be disclosed so they have an idea of what is
What the grand.
gonna be coming out there to them for this project. That might help also, because I know that that was also part of the complaints that the development office myself would hear is like, well, why do they have to charge every time they come out? Why can't the town just pay for it? And I think a little bit of clarification would help when developers come in.
And if it creates a discussion where we look at the process and we can make those approvals in-house. then
It's,
it doesn't
I was gonna
cost
say, it
them.
sounds almost more like there's a process
Yeah,
issue as
then if
opposed
we-
to
But
a,
if we change, if we can go through and change the process, that depends to what's legally required if they cross those thresholds where they need.
I mean, I'm not gonna
engineers
expect
review.
our SWIP officer or our code enforcement
Mhm.
officer to fully understand the hydrology of a location or something like that, like they would at MRB, but there should be some sort of in between, you know, does it rise to the level of needing MRB kind of thing, you know, like that's, I don't know.
So I think that's all good discussion that we can
Can I
have.
give you guys a little clarification?
Oh,
Yes.
hey, Sarah.
It's like a god mic coming.
Whoa.
through.
Jeez,
Hi,
Is that
Sarah.
Sarah or is that God?
I always wonder if it was a he or she, you know?
Now we know.
So with sureties that are under $20,000, code enforcement reviews those and approves those. MRB does not. MRB only looks at sureties and letter of credits and all those things that are over $20,000. And then, as you know, at the end of the project, the person gets it back. Terry, to answer your question, I don't think since I've worked here, we've ever pulled a surety. I don't think the town has ever pulled it and used it. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So it's rare.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either, Sarah, so it's,
But they want their money back, so, you know, they're
Yeah, I
gonna do
don't
what
think
we
you
want them to
wanna-
do.
I think you need to keep the surety process in place just to ensure that things will be done right.
Yeah,
Rather than like abandoning it, just saying, we're gonna yell at you if you don't do these things. I
yeah.
think you still have to have it, but a little tweaking here and there maybe.
So do you think
But-
this is?
And then a couple more things, we do tell them about administrative fees or chargebacks. We have a disclaimer that they have to click on in their application. If they don't read it before they click on it, that's on them. I mean, could we talk about it in PRC? Yes. But we tried to put the information in the application so we wouldn't have to remember everything verbally. So they are acknowledging that they may get these administrative fees. Adeline, you were asking about the difference between code enforcement and town engineer inspections on site. And, you know, what level dictates who gets to do the inspection. You're right. I mean, it has to do with, do we need an engineer to inspect this, or can code enforcement or Jim or somebody else inspect this? So when we need an engineer, it's MRB. We don't have an engineer on staff, so they are our engineers. And so that's where some of those other charges get generated. Also during site plan review, MRB reviews not every site plan, but some of them, especially when it has to do with drainage. So when they do that, that generates a charge.
Do you know about how many,
How many what?
just offhand, how many cases like this we're looking at? Like, so nobody under 20,000 would be charged back, or they might still, MRB might still review a project for drainage on a smaller project.
Well, when they submit when the applicant's engineer submits a surety estimate to the town, it's because the planning board has asked for it. if it's under 20,000, MRB won't review that, code enforcement will. But that same project might have other fees that are generated by MRB group during site plan review. So there's a couple different things that can generate an MRB review, an inspection, a surety review, a site plan review, anything that MRB does for that application could end up with a charge.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of it, just simply because if you have
Right.
enough money to put an addition on your home, you gotta have a little bit of a contingency plan for things like this happening, you know, I mean, and you can't really, like, if you're adding to your home, you must have saved up some amount to be able to do that, you know, it's not something you would do if you were
Yeah.
at your paycheck to paycheck, you know what I mean?
And I'm
It
okay,
just-
and like I said, I'm okay. If that's the
And
direction.
And it's true that, you know, people, I mean, we've been explaining to people what these fees are for the 10 years that I've been here, and we have to explain it almost every time.
Yeah.
And I think even if we told them out loud verbally about it at the
Yeah.
beginning of their project,
They wouldn't.
they may not really pay attention until they actually get that bill. We've
They're
tried-
looking at a bill and going, why is there $500 for this guy to walk around my property, you know?
Right, you know, and you know, there's a lot of stuff we want people to understand. We've created all kinds of PDF documents and helpful information, and until it applies to them, they just don't listen and they don't read it. And I'm not saying that's anyone's fault. It's
Human
No, that's
nature.
human nature. That is
It's
just
totally.
the way it is. It's, you know, it's the quote unquote fine print. It doesn't matter until it matters.
I think it's hard to legislate for too, because it's like, we can't say, well, if they have to come more than twice, or, you know, if
Yeah.
it's MRB in this situation or us in that, I mean, it's really hard to
Yeah.
try and legislate for that, so.
Mhm.
And it's not like I want them to have a slush fund and be like, okay, if it's a
Right.
little old lady that really needs it, she can get the money, but Terry can't because he's fine, you know, like, it's just.
So it sounds like,
It's, I mean, the people that are, whatever the project is, a pool, a house addition, a fence, whatever. Most of us aren't doing that, so we shouldn't have to subsidize it. I
That's
agree.
what I.
And I'm
feel.
okay with that.
Completely. I mean, that's just,
So-
if there's a way to, if somebody has a real issue. Again, maybe they should have looked at the numbers a little closer in the
Mhm.
beginning, but if there's a way to help them out somehow, okay, but it should not cost the rest of the taxpayers anything.
right.
That's where I am.
Are you
It's-
the same? Are you feeling that, Sarah?
I mean, nobody wants to get extra bills, but a lot of what MRB reviews has to do with stormwater and erosion.
Right.
And so, I mean, we need them to help us with it and it costs money.
And that is not every single project that
No.
comes before
No.
us.
No.
All right.
No,
I'm
most
okay.
of the building permits are, you know, building permits don't get these charges. It's only the stuff that comes to the planning board.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so I'm okay pulling that, but-
Yeah,
and not
I-
even having it, and I'm kind of feeling consensus, and I
Yeah.
see the rest going that, so I'm okay. Did I put 20 in that? I think I did. Okay,
Look at that, 2 more cents.
all right, so let's take out that
We
20,000.
got you 4 cents back already in this meeting.
Sweet.
You're getting closer to that 82 cents. It looks like, to go from $1.45 down to 82. You know, that's 45, 63 cents, and if it's 12 cents or $12,000 a penny, it's about 750,000.
Yeah.
Got a pull, so
Okay, good math. Did
There's
you do that in your
20.
head?
I use this. I could have, but I
You
hit
went to
my head
school
the
when
other
they
day.
said
so-
slide
Oh, you did your,
rules.
yeah, I
in my
got
head.
you, I got you. So just highlights of the highway, of the other fun of this. So, that if we stayed still, the tax levy portion that would go to highway would go from 925 to 2.19 million. That's if everything, nothing changed. Highway sales tax revenue went up 100, just like the general fund did. Chips is what, Jim, that's what you put in for chips.
298. It's not going up.
So I kept that number the same as what you put in.
Okay.
Services to other, everything else is pretty consistent, just rolling it through. And those are numbers that you threw in there. Appropriated fund balance about 450. Which takes us to revenue of 6.12 million. And then expenditures, personnel will go up a little bit more because of that other, that 45 had to be added in there.
Hmm.
So, but that's still pretty mild. That's not a huge increase. Capital equipment is where the big requests were. And this is for equipment that we've been putting off and other things that we need. And then contractual is going up some. But other than that, the numbers are the biggest in that equipment and the equipment, you know, the
The equipment line is just-
equipment that were things that we need to just be cognizant of replacing.
right,
The one
it's-
thing that wasn't in here that we had put into the budget during our meeting was the sale of equipment.
Mhm.
There was,
We don't have 130 for the excavator.
excavator, and then maybe if we do it 40 will be a little,
Yeah,
but if that's an if.
that's an if that comes.
That's how much you get off them being used?
So we have a 2014 wheel loader that we should replace. That's, I had the praise, it's worth 40,000 today.
Oh,
I don't have that paperwork, but we talked about at my budget meeting. Watershed
Watershed Council.
Watershed Council. Would like to purchase an excavator.
Hmm.
And I had said that our excavator could be purchased for 135, because that's what it praised out to be.
Okay,
Then that will allow
You
us
gotta
to
give me what?
replace that with
Yeah.
135,000 for a new one.
Mhm.
It would also allow us to have a third excavator to use if needed for projects.
Mhm.
But it's also gonna be used for the watershed for their projects. And because they would like to, instead of renting all the time or borrowing from other municipalities, just own their own
Okay.
and go and do the work. And
So they would own it and we could borrow it occasionally.
they would own
We
it.
would own it.
Oh, we would own
We
it.
would,
Okay.
we would own it because it would stay on the town's insurance. Because
Okay.
that's less of it. It doesn't, having that on our insurance is peanuts
Mhm,
with the big picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we'd own it. They'd have first refusal
mhm.
of use.
Okay.
And when that's not being used, we'd be second. Other municipalities would be third in the pecking order.
So they would, he provided Jared and I how he could pay for it.
Mhm.
I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah.
So that's 135,000. So we would have to come up with.
Would you say? It's like
Okay.
160 because it's like 290.
Yeah, I'm trying to apologize.
Yeah.
so for the purpose of budget creation, if we are inputting the expense,
155,
then we should input the revenue.
Yes.
right.
So on my spreadsheet, I have the revenue for that because we have
Okay.
the expense. So
Thank
you just
you.
want to make sure you're showing it
Yeah.
in both spots, and then if it doesn't happen, then you're taking out of those spots. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
So with all the changes, if you can forward me a copy of the changes you made and call it like just a super cool update or something.
to my super cool.
Your super cool update.
And I changed your chips number also, because that doesn't change.
All right, thanks. So the,
Well, or we won't.
one of the points of that, when we had the watershed council meeting earlier this week, and the council is fully supportive of going down this road with the number of projects that need to get done and the request that's increasing. The county also just approved $60,000
Yeah.
for some of these, for projects like this as well. Kevin's hoping to tap into some of that, about 20 of that to help fund this. But basically, every time that excavator goes out and is used for a day, there's $1,000 reimbursement from FEMA back for doing these projects. So by the end of next year, that would be fully reimbursed by doing these projects. And then after that, any other work that's reimbursable work that comes in, that can then get banked by the watershed council to do other projects and for other equipment, maybe a bulldozer, maybe a dozer down the road or something else like that. So now rather than renting it for that amount and then it's a wash, now it's a revenue source for the watershed council.
Right.
And it helps us Because I'm constantly hearing feedback of why doesn't the town do more to help with the flooding? Even though we know we do a lot
Mhm.
and we pay a lot and Jim puts a lot of time and effort in and our crews put a lot of time and effort in. We don't have that line that says flooding mitigation because it's incorporated in everything
No.
else. This helps with that, part of that.
You can name your excavator the flooding mitigation excavator. I mean.
Yeah, so anyway.
Why not?
So there's that in there also.
Yeah.
This, I know you weren't here, but the equipment line is high,
Yes,
just
yeah.
because I threw everything in it that we are looking to replace. That we've kind of put off over the years.
Yep.
Okay, now, when we met, the three of us met last time, we have 2 snowplow trucks.
Mhm.
Both are currently POs, one is coming up on 2 years, which we won't see until late spring, early summer of 25, and the other one we
Perfect
won't
time
see
for
till,
snowplow truck,
for-
you're right.
yep, till 26. I mentioned to the three of us before about this, we have a road tractor that we've been wanting to replace for years now, it's
What's a road? Truck?
hauls the heavy equipment around, it's
Oh,
a tractor trailer.
Okay,
It's a tractor part of the
Thank you.
trailer, sorry. It's an 07 Mac with 600,000 miles on it.
you've been
It's-
talking about that for a
For a
while.
while.
Yeah.
I was looking to propose to the board of utilizing the amount of money we already have for the plow truck that's not coming till late spring, early summer of next year to purchase it this year, which would leave a balance of 55,000 that could go back into equipment reserve. And then when that truck comes, take the money out of equipment reserve to pay for said snowplow truck.
How much is your road tractor?
It's 190 that I have budgeted.
And you had what budgeted for the?
The snowplow was 245,000.
So that's your 55. Okay.
Right.
How many miles are in it?
There is, sorry, Jerry. 600,000
And
on the tractor
Tractor.
portion.
how old is it?
Well, we bought it used.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's 07, so it's,
that's what I was gonna ask. You have to have a new one, or you proposing buying a new one or buying it used?
find a new one.
No,
Because we bought a used one this time and it's with a lot of miles. It's a double frame, so that's rotting out on it. That's one of the biggest
gotta get
problems.
southern one.
What's that?
Gotta get one from the south.
Yeah,
Like all those cars
well,
from Florida.
before that, we
Yeah,
used to
but
just take 10 wheelers and throw a road plate, or throw a
Yeah.
fifth wheel on it.
You know, the whole,
Around.
really, next year, the $1.45, a lot of it's right there in
Yeah.
that line. It's $1 million increase.
Yeah.
And you got a $750,000 problem, so,
Yeah.
So
you
that's,
know, it's,
and that's the easiest one to hit. But
but,
I also, there are other things.
Yeah.
So it's not just, so everybody gets hit a little bit. So
I have a big overarching question
Yeah.
now. How do we incorporate when in the budgeting process, the use of reserve funds? Because we have reserve funds to help with
Right.
various things with all of these issues. And what seems to happen every year is we don't have them necessarily spent. February comes along and we're like, why are these reserve fund
Right.
balances so freaking high?
So
And I mean, can't we have
we can.
any of
So
these
what
requests spent out
we
of the
have our
reserve
tax,
funds?
we have our tax reserve fund.
Yeah.
That protects the tax rate. We have equipment, we have other things. So what we'll do is after the dust settles from this, because we just finished this up last week. And then I've spent the first part of this week at, there's no easy way to add up a lot of some of this. So you've got to go line by line for the spreadsheet for the tax rate. So I went in and did that. And then we'll be looking at, okay, what reserve funds do we have? How much do we have? Some already allocated.
Well, I mean, like the ARPA, for example, that
Mhm.
should be going, we should be using that completely up
We've
for
already-
Ononda and using the CM fund for Ononda.
We've
right?
already
Committed to it.
talked
And then-
about, with the ARPA's already we already made that
I
decision.
know, but I
It's
mean, like,
allocated.
there's a highway one, I don't have any
Right.
reserve funds floating around in
But
front of me, but there's.
Then
so many.
after, we will look and say, okay, if we bring in X of the reserve fund, because
So-
there already is reserve fund and money already built into this budget.
So
Okay,
here's a question, and I feel like I should know this, but I don't. are you allowed to budget reserve funds, or do you cut something and then create a resolution to use reserve funds? Because there's that whole public hearing,
What do you mean budget reserve funds?
like, so.
That's what
I
I'm
think you're talking
asking.
about, like, can you put in a line into a revenue line, like, say, you're using reserve funds? Or are you supposed to say, okay, we're gonna cut this out of the budget and approve the budget and then pass a separate resolution saying in January of 2025, we want to use 100,000 from highway equipment reserve. And then you have to, you have your permissive referendum.
Yeah.
That way. So do you know, I
That's,
don't know
yeah,
what the rules
that's,
I
are,
think-
budget, or does it have to be separate?
I would not put in the budget, because it's
Okay.
already a separate reserve account,
Right,
and you're just
That's
gonna do
kinda what I
a
was thinking.
budget amendment.
right. That's
Meaning
what I
like-
was thinking.
The board could pass the 25 budget, it's this,
Right,
okay? I could come back to the board and say, we wanna buy this out of reserve account.
right.
We can then identify that, do the resolution to pull it out, give it the 30 days, and then do a budget amendment from there.
Right, that's kind of what I was
Because
thinking, so.
I think that might be,
I would just like to have part of this process be thinking, where are we spending from the reserve funds now, right? Because there's.
No,
They're
well,
so
what we would
high.
do,
I mean, they're,
what we
like the
would do
contingent
is,
tax reserve is a perfect example. I mean, it's over $1
Okay.
million, so.
So I think that's kind of what,
Contingent tax reserve fund.
So we could decide and say, okay, we're gonna take 250 from the contingent tax reserve fund and move it to this.
that's an A line, correct?
It is, yes, A20,
Okay,
AA
so A could go
231.
into D.
right, no, but what I, like you're saying, you can put a contingent tax reserve. I think the contingent tax reserve works a little different.
Because
I
that,
think that
you
is
can use to
help
lower the tax
balance
rate.
the-
I think there's a
tax
page
rate.
that
But say
Yeah.
packet you have has a page. Didn't you define it in that packet? You looked it up when you did that packet, didn't
Yeah.
you? And you put a page in there about it?
So so the contingent
Because you looked
tax,
it up in your little book.
is it possible to,
Oh,
You know, the one that has the colors you were just
Do it
looking at?
simultaneously.
I don't know if I have that.
to
exact
say
one,
that
no.
you're gonna pull this money from reserve?
It's in
With
that
it-
packet.
To
if you
put
have a
into
little
the
packet.
budget, but do that at the same time that we're moving
Yeah.
through the budget
with a
process.
contingent tax reserve, yes.
Yeah.
That money.
But
can
the
go
others,
in.
like the
Not
others,
necessarily the others.
The others, I don't think we can, because
Well-
once to move money from the reserve funds, Jess is right, you do need to, for all the others, you do need to have that hearing.
well, yeah, that's what I mean, but
You're
Pass the
saying do the
resolution
public
now.
hearing now?
So while
Right
you're
now.
talking about the budget, you can say, all right, Jim, we agree with you. We're gonna say, so we'll take it out of the budget. And then, we're gonna.
Pay for it
use-
from the
pay for
contingent
it out
tax
of the
reserve.
contingent or we're gonna pay for it
Yeah.
out of your equipment reserve, but we'll have to have the budget and your resolution saying, this is what's gonna
That's
happen.
what happened.
It depends on which
But the
is
contingent
easier.
tax reserve, I think, does work
Hey, Jim.
different.
so in that case, you would have, like,
You got good
speaking
news.
about equipment, the number we have for equipment would be, we
would
dropped
yeah, we'd
that,
Say,
and then
yeah,
in January, whenever,
Mhm.
we just
Yes.
activate the.
Yes,
That's
so
what
it's
I'm
not-
saying.
It doesn't really appear in the budget at all,
correct.
but
Exactly.
it's
And
part
you
of
can-
our budget
yeah.
plan.
And you can keep that in mind when you're
Yeah.
working through the budget
But
to
it
say,
seems like there-
well,
Should be some addendum to the budget to let people know.
Yes,
you
that
would.
that's what's
That's what we're
happening.
gonna
we would
do.
have the resolution, yeah. That could be a separate note
Yeah.
off to the side and say, we're reducing the budget amount by
right,
200,000.
by 290,000 to buy this excavator. Okay,
Yeah.
we're taking this excavator out of the budget, dropping it by 290,000, but on January 1st,
Yes.
we will have a public hearing to transfer the, to do that.
Yeah, we could set a public hearing now
And
for
I'm
January.
sure-
It doesn't
Instead of-
matter. what-
yeah.
And I'm
change
sure
it
we
to a
can do it
dollar
as
instead
part of
of
the budget
proposed.
because school districts do it too. Whenever you vote on a school budget, you are also voting to spend reserve
Oh,
fund
reverse
money
funds for the
Exactly.
on the
buses.
school
Yeah,
buses.
that's true.
Yeah.
So they do it that all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So we,
true.
we might be, but it depends on what's cleaner
Exactly.
and what's easier. Do we have a resolution now? It would have to be in,
I think that makes sense to do it at the same time,
Yeah,
because then you're,
I think of the way.
It's
he thought,
clear
yeah,
what your
yeah,
intent
right.
is for spending in
Yeah.
the next year. And it's
Right.
people can see, oh, Jim keeps asking for this thing every year that's got 600,000 miles on it. Why do they keep ditching it?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's more clear to say, well, we're not ditching it.
so
It's just
instead
coming
of
out of this
paying it
pile.
with like, right, so instead of including it in your tax rate, we're gonna use the money that we set aside for
Yeah.
this purpose.
You know, that gets you part of the problem resolved, but going from 76 cents to $1.45 is largely because of this equipment issue.
Mhm.
We have an equipment issue because we keep kicking the can down the
Yeah,
road.
exactly.
We just gotta
At some
bite the bullet
point.
now.
I don't think we have enough in that reserve to do this.
No, we don't.
The other thing is that as you spend down those reserves, the interest income that's coming in goes down too. So there's a negative effect to it. Not as big as the,
Right.
Right.
But I still remember my very first training with the comptroller and them saying, don't let these reserve funds get wicked high because that
True.
you want to be spending your taxpayer money that comes in when it comes in, not just hanging on to it forever for a rainy day. Because if that person lived in the town of Canandaigua for 3 years and they paid that money in, their money they should be seeing their money spent while they live there, not 3 years later when they've moved away, and everything else. But it should be, these should be lighter than they are,
we
So-
we
should
should
take
be spending
the
them.
approach that one of our former supervisors
No,
did.
we're not going down that. We're not gonna have a zero tax rate and just use reserve funds and fund balance to pay for everything. I
We
know where
got
you're going.
bitten big time by that. That was dumb.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
There was
So-
a zero tax
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
formally, okay.
so.
You don't want to go
I
there.
know-
No, you want some money there, but not exorbitant amount.
So I like, another thing I have brought to the attention was for the wheel loader. Because it's only worth 40,000 right now, I was hoping for more than that, but it's not, but we could do a 5-year lease to replace the wheel loader, so instead of borrowing or spending 333,000 next year, you could do 65,000 for 5 years and own it at the end. It is something else that we can discuss. I'm not looking for an answer, I'm just
Yeah.
giving you what I've been trying to find to get equipment replaced, but
Yeah.
also make it a little bit easier
Yeah.
on our tax rate. So we're not,
Cause so I think. that-
Blowing it out of the water, yeah.
I think that we can keep to that 82, because I think most everybody from feedback I got wants to,
Where'd you get your 82 from, by the way?
that's a
What-
number that you'd sent me something in that low 80s.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you look at it, so let's say it's 86 times 8 is 48, so 6% would be about just short of 5 cents.
Well, I was also looking at the 2023 budget, right? And I'm looking at the impact for the tax payment, right? That in 2023, that was $300.06. In 2024, it was $295.07. I would almost look at what 6% up from that 306 would be, which would, whatever percentage we get at to
Yeah.
be about like 318.06. That's that 3%
Yeah.
up a year kind of thing where it would be if we were keeping a steady course.
Which puts
And
us,
I don't know where that puts us. You know the
which should
calculation.
put us around that 82.
It
So
does,
I'll
okay.
I'll take that into account. But from today's discussion, which I think was really good, I'm removing the 20,000 from the MRV, we're removing the 20,000 from the contracting, from the development. We'll look more at where, if we can pull down some of that contingent tax reserve. And then look at highway equipment reserve, doing a resolution at the same time. And if that gets us closer to halfway there, then at least we can start chipping off these things, because what we don't want to happen is we get behind the 8 ball and then we have all this equipment that is crap in the bed at the same time.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And Jim has made it very clear that keeping on the schedule, the replacement schedule, at the end of the day, with the prices of these things.
Yeah.
Saves us money.
Yep.
Because when we sell it at that right time,
Mhm.
and you're really good at that, marking that right time, when's the best time to move it and move on to something else? So our cost per year is
Yeah.
much less than if we hold it twice as long.
right,
Do we need to
So-
update that?
we do.
How do we make that something that
Well, we
happens?
take our current plan and we discuss,
Who's we?
well, we be, and then coming back to you guys. Okay, so here's the old, here's our proposal for new. Here's what's gonna take to get there, but here's what could be the return.
This sounds like a perfect project for the as yet unnamed Assistant Superintendent of Highway and Water Operations.
Or a
Um,
further test for our incoming town manager.
Exactly. All
You
of the
know,
above.
I think you keep talking about the equipment.
I do,
That reserve is finite. The
Mhm.
bulk of our money in reserve is not in highway equipment reserve.
Mhm.
We have boatloads of money in other areas.
Yep.
But, you know, in looking through,
Mm.
really the only place we have an issue is right there. But we can't transfer money from one
No.
reserve to another.
We
Here's
need to be
the
more
reserve
So,
careful. We need to
you
be
know,
more careful
it's-
where we put reserve money.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
we
it's
do.
the issue every year. For many years, in my memory, highway equipment is the issue, you know, every
It
year
always
that we
is.
have to. So,
Well, look at the, I mean,
you
it's,
know,
what is it? It says, right, it's 77% of the budget, you know.
So we need to
it's
look at,
highway.
so,
yeah,
so
well, that's,
It's-
come February, when we look at our balances from the year before, we need to make a conscious effort to what needs to be, what is an area that we can't keep pulling in more money, it's that. You know, parks and other things we can pull, we've got, if all of these new projects and things go in, that fund is, you know, the acquisition fund is gonna be flush and huge
Yeah.
with everything there, so.
is there any way to get an approximation of where we might be in terms of unallocated fund balance? So it'll give us an idea of, I mean, I'm just throwing this out, you can take whatever that difference, we need to maintain some to stabilize next year's budget. But take that difference and dump it all into equipment. And then tap that to come up with this, you know, difference of about $1 million
So you're, yeah.
without putting money into any other, so that we can at least get ourselves back to
Yeah.
our original
Cause this,
schedule of
yeah, cause
replacement.
this amount, this number that we have from Jim, it's real, yeah, it's just getting us,
It just
it gets us
doesn't get us
closer.
ahead, it gets us to where
It
we.
gets us closer to where we need to be. So I think that's something that we can do, and we can look to see where we are. I mean, that would be,
If you had some idea what that number might be, would also help give you
yeah.
a better idea of how much to reduce this,
Mhm.
so that you can bring it into balance with the.
Yeah, I mean, that all depends on where we,
You know,
Jess,
you're making a guess.
I know we
Yeah.
can do what we already have, like, here's what's left at this time of the year. We could, like, I know I have still some large numbers, but I still have invoices for, like, say, road striping. They haven't even billed us, I don't know why, but that's, you know, if you look at it today, you're like, why is there so much money in there? No, because we haven't got a bill yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is you could ask each department head to kind of forecast a little bit. Like, where am I gonna be, you think, at the end of the year?
what are we gonna have left? And
So
that'll give us
just
an
to
idea.
try and give you an idea of. It's not,
Just for the reserve funds, you're saying?
just to see what's left, will be left over for unaccounted fund balance of your budget. You know, just something to look at. If you're curious, as Terry mentioned, that it is possible to give a number, maybe not, obviously it's got
Yeah, not
room, but
precise, but
I think we could just charge $10 for everyone who has a car in the
Um,
But
just-
that'll do
is
it.
there,
the three of you, do you think this is something I need to get together and bring to the board for replacement of the road tractor?
Yes.
Yes,
That's what I'm asking.
yes, you have
Yes.
support here.
Okay, I just wanna.
yeah,
And
see-
that be a
start with
revenue
your
source?
$600,000 or 600.
Potentially, we don't typically charge our municipal neighbors to bring
Right.
their heavy equipment.
Okay,
Because
because we trade.
there's
Yeah.
us, Victor, the county, and Farmington have low boys, so we
Alright.
just,
We just share
we
them.
just, whoever needs equipment moved, we just help each other.
All right, can I get my CDL and learn how to travel?
Sure. That's fine,
I should.
you get your permit, you can, yeah.
what's that cost, $4,000 or something?
That's for the B, the
Oh,
A.
that's not the A.
Go back to high school and you can
Well,
get a
that's
lot
another
cheaper.
expense.
I'll put that in there for training. Training for what?
Um,
CDL, just in case. I'm hedging my
I just-
bets.
I know we talked about water, so I just bring it to your attention for budget for a second.
Yeah,
You know, we need about 1,000 meters to finish our water system. Okay, and I got a quote, for this year, because I know next year they're gonna go up about 6%. So I know I put it in the budget, and I don't see why it wouldn't get funded, because we do have the funds. But I want to talk about is, I would like to have the board approve myself to order these now, because we're not gonna see it for 6 months. Because that's how long it takes to even get them, so that we can save ourselves 6% on,
Does Consolidated have to
What's
pay
the
for it?
total
Yeah.
cost?
Don't.
right around 340,000.
As long as there's money in Consolidated, just do it.
We have money consolidated, that's what I'm getting at, is like, I'm trying to save 6%, but I'm also trying to get them
20 grand.
coming,
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
meters just came after we ordered back in April.
And yeah, I didn't give you guys this. I
If it's in there, you-
apologize. I didn't print this one out.
But again, that's something else I would been wanting to
Yeah,
bring to the finance committee, so we can have a conversation and.
Can you get that for the 26th agenda?
I'll verify. I got this quote, and I can, that's not an issue, I just wanted to have the conversation.
Yeah,
with
I don't
you
think that's
guys
a
to
big
say
deal,
that.
especially if Consolidated has it. I mean,
So
Because-
it won't, I would do a letter of intent, not a PO, because we don't have the money in there right now.
okay,
But we would do it in the 25 budget to pay for it.
okay.
and so you guys are aware, I forgot to print this and I apologize. For Consolidated, without increasing the fund balance use, which we can do to lessen that number. I included the fire hydrants that you were, because replacing the fire hydrants and the request for those meters. That would take Consolidated currently is at a 62-cent tax rate. That would take that up to a 73-cent tax rate, but that's not using
Oh, okay.
a larger increase in the fund balance, which we can do that to bring this down more in line to that 3 to 4% increase.
Correct.
And is Consolidated generally pretty even, or they?
For the most part, I've been keeping it even. I'm trying to do so many fire hydrants a year,
Yeah.
so much meters a year. Because
You're not gonna
I
paint them
really-
gray? Don't paint them gray.
I just don't, no, I'm not. You know, with the meters for me, I don't want them to all expire the same.
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah, of
You know, like if
course.
this is
Good
going on our,
policy.
almost our 3rd year, but we do so many each year.
Mhm,
We haven't got we just space it out.
Exactly.
Won't be here in 20 years, but, you know, for the next person, so.
Why not?
It's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good policy.
Um,
As long as they're running pretty much even with where they bringing in and putting out what they should be, that's fine.
The only thing, and I told Jared this the other day, is I know the city has pretty good capital plans for the water treatment facility. And
Mhm.
I don't know where that water rate's gonna land this year, because
Mhm.
there's quite a bit they have to do.
Yeah.
And it's just being driven between the EPA to get things.
Yeah,
certain
it's
way
being
from-
driven by what's being mandated.
Jared, what's the fire rate at? Do you know? And did you see the video that
So
I sent? Apparently
I talked to the mayor this morning about
did,
that,
okay.
so,
apparently the city is talking about not having a fully
well,
staffed
they're going
fire
through.
department again.
They've
Yeah.
had some people they've had some openings, they've also been paying more overtime, so they're having a budget crunch. I talked to Bob on my way here or somewhere else this morning. Cause he was going to meet with John. And I reminded him, I said, now I've heard rumblings and I've seen rumblings that, are you guys talking about going from 4 on staff to 3? And he said, John has brought that up of going from 4 to 3
Mhm.
at certain times because of overtime and other things. And I said, I just make sure you remind him that if you don't maintain that 4, then that'll adjust what we contribute to you guys, what we pay you. I'm sure he loves hearing that, but
Well, that was
If
us
you go
trying to
to
make sure
3,
they have 4.
if you go to
If you
3,
agree.
if you go to
I
3,
think you
it's
guys
gonna
agree that
lessen,
has to happen.
you're not gonna get
Play a
the same
video of
amount.
John Goodman saying they're going to 3 at their city council.
So a fire
No, but
district,
For our contract, it was, I believe, the board said 4.
It absolutely
Yeah.
says 4.
so fire, the fire tax last year was 86.
86.
This year it's gonna be 90, which is a $46 increase. This is the last of our big years. We are giving The city, 1.1 million, and we are giving Cheshire 890,000.
Maybe we'll be giving the city less.
So next year, and that's about 125 and 110,000 for Cheshire, 125 for the city. Next year, the city gets 100 and Cheshire gets 60. So we did kind of a reverse. We gave them the biggest and then we scaled it back for the 2-year agreement. So that's pretty.
Do you want to hear
Pretty
my
constant.
1-minute video that you didn't get? That
No, I
was-
got it. I saw it. I
Did
just
you
didn't
see the whole
understand
thing?
because it was cutting off and it wasn't the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And
Right.
just,
Did have an ad I saw in the paper that people that, send Frank, their interest in becoming a firefighter.
yeah.
I wondered what was going on. So,
Yeah. And so you guys know, the fire tax is based on, so our full assessment, our full book is 2.2 billion for the county. That's the full number. You guys have that. So,
Even at a dollar, that's 202 million a year.
so that keeps us,
No, I'm just saying that's, I mean, we need it, but it's just, it's a large number for your fire station. I mean, because when people get their bill, they don't even look at the fire
They don't
tax.
even
No.
know. Yeah.
They just look at the town tax.
Right.
So,
Yep.
which again, water and fire are more than the town portion of it now, pretty much.
They're bigger.
Because,
This will be the second year that fire tax is larger than
Yeah.
property.
Mhm.
and as far as tax cap, I've already reached, I've got some people offering to help me as we go through calculations on that. I don't know how it'll be for tax cap, but with those increases in fire protection, still kind of part of that. I don't know if we'll be
Probably,
compliant.
but I doubt it.
So we'll see where we are. Thank you for letting me hijack that.
No,
Thank
no,
you
I
for your-
expected you to, because
Thank you for your input on all of that, everybody. I appreciate it. And
Thanks
it
for all the
helps-
work
It helps
on it.
as we go through this. So thank you.
No, it's
okay, anything else for the good of the order before we kill the meeting?
It's kind of fun.
Is the God mic still there? No. All right, then I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Our meeting is
I'll give you
adjourned. If you want to hear this, this is the